Okay, first of all, I need to find out how many know me. Would you raise your hand? Oh, that's great, because I can really embellish now if you don't know me. Anybody live in Alpine? Oh, what do you think of your mayor?
He's all right.
Oh, he's all right. Okay, that's great. All right, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start at the end of my presentation. Is that okay? Because this is kind of the end of your class, so I'm going to see how sharp you guys are. You should be up to speed on all this. My principles of business are really simple. The picture of business. Picture me on a three-legged stool. Okay, those three legs, each one's essential, right? Well, there's three essential components to a business. One is a wow product. You've heard about that, you know about that. The other is a wow team, okay? And the third is, I used to use a different word, but I heard what Ann Romney called it. Her third principle really is serendipity. It's really, my 40 years of business has really taught me that it is wow product. It is a wow team being product development, sales, operations, and finance. But then there's a lot of very fortunate timing. At least it is with my story. Now, the more you experience and grow in education and failures and successes, maybe you'll need less serendipity. Now, we're going to go to product. I have 4 major businesses I've been involved in. I wouldn't have not gotten into BYU in this day and age. It took me 10 years to get a degree out of BYU in university studies. Do you know what university studies is? That's less, no offense, that's less than communications. It's just whatever easy course there was, like this one. I took as many of these lectures as I could, not because I wanted to learn that much, but just because they were easy. Okay, but really, I've got a gift. My gift is ADD. Okay, you'll find that out. That's my gift. You can take your personality traits and turn them into detriments or gifts. I turned it into a gift. I had a hard time focusing in my classes, so I started selling real estate. Thought I'd be a millionaire by the time I was 30, and I was probably at $900,000 before the interest rates went to 22%, all but went out of business. Forced me to start another business that we'll talk about, my main business, in which I took 4 kids, put them in a motorhome, and went out in the western United States selling dust covers door to door to computer stores in 1983. That has turned into our company today, which is the largest air freshener company in the world. But I want to go to 2 businesses I've just worked on in the last 2 or 3 years, been a major part of, and we're going to talk about products. So let's go ahead and this is the first product that one of the ones I invested in the last year or 2 and had a part of. Let's see what you think of this product.
Do you know how much easier the day would have been if you would have used a trash buddy? The trash buddy is an easily installable device that helps keep your trash can closed when it's windy and helps keep out those pesky animals. It's adjustable with 3 levels of tension and can be quickly disconnected, allowing the lid its full range of motion. And don't worry, the trash buddy is designed to easily open when the garbage man comes to take your trash away.
Okay, great. Okay, that's Trash Buddy. Someone brought me a person that was actually a postman, saw this problem. What do we know about problems? Most ideas, the more we solve a problem, solve pain, create pleasure, that's probably the higher rating we have of a wow product. Anyway, that's one product. became introduced to me. I could tell the person didn't have a lot of teamwork as far as sales, operations, running a business, and so we ended up giving him a royalty and taking it over. That's one business. Here's another business, another product. Okay, go to the fireman.
I'm John. I'm a firefighter from Connecticut, and a while ago I was asked to test anti-sweating products. I tested Sweat Block on the Rachel Ray show. Going into this, I was completely skeptical of the concept of stopping somebody from sweating. By week 1, I was impressed. By week 3, I was sold on it, and by the end of it, I was ready to endorse it and tell my friends about it. During the course of the testing period, I think we fought 3 house fires and a couple car fires, and I put it through its cases, and it passed with flying colors. I applied it, and it lasts for 7 days at least. There's no itching, there's no burning. It actually has a very pleasant smell to it. It was the simplest thing in the world to do. It takes seconds of your time, and it lasts all week long. I've used it fighting fires. I've used it countless hours of training. I've used it at my buddy's wedding. I've used it at my own wedding. It's come through every time. I am not an actor. I'm just a fireman from Connecticut. I was in no way compensated by the
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's have you rate those 2 products. We'll rate them 1 to 10, and the first one is the Trash Buddy. Now, you guys, you're not the ideal market, I don't think, because you don't take out those big garbage cans every day, so that's a little bit of a problem. 6 million, you may not be in the perfect market for, hey, not yet.
Not yet.
Look at that guy. The guy with hair. There was a day 40 years ago. And check out that babe. We'll talk about her in a minute. Man, she makes me 40 years later. This is our 40-year anniversary coming up, taking our married kids to Amsterdam, and I forgot what I was talking about. So where was I?
1 to 10, great products.
Oh, wow. So you are kind of leading out here, aren't you? 1 to 10. Okay, so 1 to 10, we rate these products. Again, you're not the ideal market. 6 million people suffer from hyperhidrosis, excessive sweating. So you may not be one of those. You may be one of those. But try to put yourself in these different positions. Your parents, or if you're in a windy area in the garbage can. Okay, how many would rate that product below a 10 being a wow, below a 5? Okay, 6? Nice. Hey, let's send them way up high, would you? 7? 8? 9? 10. Okay, my rule of thumb, if it's not a 9 or a 10, you shouldn't do it. I I got involved in this product. Again, a lot of times students will come to my home and we'll talk about business. I love to help and give ideas. This particular fellow, I felt concerned about because I just didn't think he had much of a business sense. And I tried the product. And I love the product. Works great. Today, it's windy outside in Alpine. It's blowing full blast. I can put that down, and it still dumps with it on. I thought it was great. That was about 9 months ago. I'm out 68 grand, and we're out of business. Hey, I got it on the internet. I got it on bloggers. I got it in stores. I don't know what the deal is, and I don't care. It didn't work. I could have saved about $50,000 if I would have done the BYU model of idea. How does it go? The 4 quad? Yeah, so 200 surveys. I didn't do 200 surveys. I just asked anybody I knew, and they all said, oh, yeah, it's good. Kind of like you guys. Oh, it's good. It can't be good. It must be great. Okay, sweat block. Okay, I wouldn't tell you 2 failures in a row to start out the day, would I? Okay, how many think it's below a 5? 6? I think it's a 6, okay? How many think it's a 7? How many think it's an 8? How many think it's a 9? How many think it's a 10? Ooh, you would have liked to invest with me because when we bought it, we took it over. It was doing 100 grand a year. We do 2 million a year. It works. It's awesome. And why is it unbelievable for you guys when you think of, I'm in the retail business, that's what we'll get to. Remind me that I was going to tell you what's ideal for an internet startup. A couple of factors. Remind me. If you want one of those free ones, you'll remind me. But now, I'm so old that now I want you to remind me of that. I forgot what I was going to tell you. The other thing. So, go ahead. Tell me what I was going to say anyway. I don't know what I was going to say anyway either way. Okay, let me, on air fresheners, we sell about 100 million air fresheners a year. On the internet business, what I was going to point out on the internet business is, what do you want? You want 2 things. You want a wow product, like Sweat Block, and then what do you want? What makes it ideal? Retail, boy, that's a lot of work, I'll tell you. What do you want? A good video helps. You should get half of one of these. That wasn't that great. Let's have something a little greater. What do you have? If you want to have if you find an incredible product, are you going to necessarily be successful? What do you want on the internet? Yes, sir.
We need a love group.
A love group, yes.
Endorsement.
That's nice.
A good distribution chain.
Good distribution center. Those are all great, but they're not what I want. Yeah. Okay, those are all great things. Here's what and I'm bad at asking questions. That's why I'm not a teacher. That's why they haven't had me back here for 10 years. What you want, Sweat Block, okay? I knew, it had already been out on the market. I already knew it worked. I knew it was a 10. What I did is on the internet business, retail, I'm in retail. I didn't even think about taking that to Walmart to retail. Why? Why wouldn't I take one product to Walmart?
Because the customers, when they refer to their friends, they get the most success because they know how it works.
Okay, so. Ready? Whoa! Oh, if your friend would have caught it, I would have given her one too, but she didn't catch it. Okay, what you want is you want people Googling your problem, the product, the solution to a problem, right? That's why Sweat Block went from 100 grand in 2 or 3 years to 2 million. Is because it was a wow product, but that isn't good enough. It's because not everybody, 6 million people, a lot of people are panicking on the internet for a solution. So if I was in your situation, I would look for wow products, not easy to come by. This one's unbelievable. Developed by a BYU chemist, professor. They're hard to come by. They're not easy, but they can. But I would find one where someone's Googling the problem. Who do you think's Googling Trash Buddy? It really is a good solution. But nobody's Googling it. See the huge difference? All right. Anyway, started at the end. Is that okay? I hope that got your attention. I was afraid, being my old age, I'd be boring. So now we're going to go to the boring stuff. Okay, let's go through here. I love BYU. Well, sort of. You know what? I'm not the brightest kid in the world. When I was in 7th grade, my dad has a PhD in education. My older brother, photographic memory. My sister, really bright. I was average student and ADD. And my dad has the nicest guy. He looked like me, a little short, bald guy. Really nice guy, except for when I brought home my grades. I would bring home average grades. And this wonderful man, all year long, 4 times a year, whenever grades would come out, he turned into a villain. I mean, he was mean, and he was rough, and he was discouraged. Because I think he goes, hey, I got a doctorate in educational psychology, and I got a failure here of a son. One day, I found myself, 7th grade, Centerville Elementary. We moved to the Bay Area in 8th grade. I found myself taken down to the principal's office, and a counselor there gave me a test with a little boxes or thing. It's an IQ test. I went home that day. True story. My dad was no longer mad. He was just sad because they reported his IQ is very low. Isn't that sad? I sell 100 million air fresheners a year. Don't cry for me. Don't cry for me. What I am, and we're all different gifts and talents. I'm a strategist. I obsess. And so I don't sleep sometimes. And so a lot of times in business, a lot of my career, I go home about 2 o'clock and get on a tractor so I can sleep at night. Because I'm always strategizing. I'm always thinking. I don't have near the IQ in different strategies or ways that you do. But in many cases, I'll beat it and solve a problem where a lot of people can't. Because I obsess longer on that problem. I remember coming home one day, I have a 10-acre farm, horses and different things, and I came into Alpine, and I go out, and I'm out in the middle of the barns, between 2 barns, and got 2 big wood barns. I look there's a fire burning in the middle of the road base. And I'm going, what the heck? I go up there, and sure enough, on my big 5th-wheel horse trailer, there's sun coming down, hitting that silver horse trailer, coming back, hitting some manure, and it's burning. It's all about focus. It's all about passion. It's all about energy putting into that. Now, this little babe here, 40 years, do you notice, this would get you a prize if you get this. There's something kind of unique besides I got some hair. There's something here that's, you might go, wow, that's interesting. Yeah. There it is, bud. So, I'm in church. I just finished my LDS mission. That was a good thing. I'm sitting there with my cousin Norm Watkins from Gilbert, Arizona. Somebody was from Gilbert. You know Norm? Okay, Norm, a lot of people in Gilbert. I'm sitting there with Norm. Norm's getting ready to go on a mission. They called him Storm and Norman. Our dads were brothers, but his dad was about 6'3". Norm's about 6'3". Arizona, brown, lots of hair, thick hair, everything annoying. He wants to be with me for 2 weeks because we're close cousins. So he sits down next to me, and we're sitting there in church. I'm paying good attention. I just off my LDS mission. But on my mission, I learned it's all about family. It's all about family. So as soon as the church is over, I go just like this. And I go, wow. I go, she looks great. So I come over here. Norm's talking to me. I'm not listening to Norm. I'm watching this girl walk down the stairs. Is this all legal at BYU? Good. Walk down the stairs. What?
We encourage it.
Okay, good. Well, I hope you don't have to too much. That's a problem, guys. Okay, you come on down. She gets down to this level, and what? Taller than me. So I don't want her. I'm a fast strategist, not the most brilliant guy in the world. I don't want her to make the biggest mistake of her life. So what do? I hurry and sit back down so she doesn't make a mistake and judge me wrong. So she flows on out. I go, oh boy, this is great. So then I go to my apartment. Jim Downs is my roommate. And I said, do you know that girl? He goes, that's Peggy Tuttle. I go, Peggy Tuttle? I go, wow. He goes, I'm going to go over there to lunch because Melody is my girlfriend. I'm going to go over there to lunch. He'd been living there during the summer. And so he goes over there. He comes back about 2 hours later, and I go, hey, by any chance, even though I was sitting down, did she say anything about me? He said, no, but she had a lot of questions about your cousin. Oh, so sad, isn't it? So sad, I just had to get him on his mission. He left, and I closed the deal. And you know what? It's all about family. And you know what? I'm an entrepreneur. Go ahead, next picture. This is our family, you know. These are the grandkids over here. These are our kids. We're missing one boy that's on a mission. I love my family. We have a great family. I'm so lucky because even though I'm an entrepreneur, and it takes a lot of focus and a lot of passion, I never compromise my family. I'd work early in the morning, probably get out of there by 6:30 or something, and I was home by 6 or 6:30. I wasn't going to compromise this. So next slide, I love business. Larry Miller, I love this statement from Larry Miller. I'm no Larry Miller. There's no question. He's billion dollar companies. Mine's are 100 million. Larry looks to his wife and says, Gail, she goes, well, what are you laughing about, Larry? And he says, Gail, I just love business. You know what? I love business. I mean, antiperspirants are nice. I love finding a solution that's a wow and then getting it to the marketplace. Yeah, I like making some money. So we're going to talk a little bit about passion for business. Some of the reasons are dollars. Dollars. Oh, that's a terrible thing, though. That's the root of all evil. I changed it a little bit. No, that's not part of the scripture, Jacob 2, 17, 18. This root of much good. But you know what? There was a general authority by the name of Sterling W. Seal. And sometimes money we need to recognize causes problems and imbalance. So can too much education, too much confidence in anything that we're not humble about and acknowledge the Lord in all of our gifts and all of our blessings. But sometimes we get carried away in that money is the root of all evil, or a rich man can't get in the kingdom of God. Now, I'm a little worried about that because I've been poor. I've been more well-to-do right now. Maybe by the time I die, I'm going to try to be poor again so I can get in there. But you know what? Sterling W. Seal said, money isn't everything. But he said, name me 3 things it isn't. You think about the United States of America and the philanthropic efforts that are done throughout all the world. It's because of successful businesses. Now, there's a lot of people that become successful in business. Would someone look up Jacob 2, 17 through 18? And when you get that, raise your hand. If that's your focus and not on the Lord or the family first, you may end up in tough shape. Because to me, it's hard enough. I do well. It's still, I have to, I read Jacob all the time. Yes, sir. Would you read that?
Yes, God. Think of your brethren like unto yourselves, and be familiar with all, and free with your substance, that they may be rich like unto you. But before you seek for riches, seek ye for the kingdom of God.
Okay. Don't let this hit that beautiful lady. Oh, man, I'm getting bad at that. Okay, so when is it okay to seek for some successful business? If you'll do what? If you help others with it. And thus, I'm at an age where, the learn, earn, and return, I'm about there. I'm about there. Okay, independence, freedom, accountability. Yeah, I love being responsible. Now, it's our team that's responsible. Everybody that works with me, that it rises to the top, whether they're an entrepreneur or or rather especially if they're inside my organization. Excuse me, what is an entrepreneur? What's an entrepreneur?
Someone inside your organization makes.
You can't. You're up front.
Somebody that finds business solutions on a day-to-day basis.
Well, that's a little heavy for me. That's because you're extra bright. I just say it's someone, yes. that's really creative, that really wants to work the extra, will go home at night and maybe focus a little bit on the business after family night, after the family's gone to bed, and come back in and really offer something special to the business. They're entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about one in a few minutes. Okay. I do love what Rick Farr. Rick Farr is a mentor of mine. His son, Eric, is here and is an associate founder or founder. He's a terrific family. But when I came here and helped teach for about 10 years, 15, 20, 18 years ago, Rick taught the students this: success is overrated and so is failure. How do you think, how does that make sense? Success is overrated and so is failure. Someone give me yes, sir. No, not you. You already had a turn.
People focus too much on only achieving success and would only look at failure because it's not fantastic, but it's through failure.
Yeah, that's how we grow and progress. My patriarchal blessing says life is full of trials and tribulations and blessings. That's the plan. That's the deal. There's going to be failures. The key thing that the Savior says is quickly, repent. I never heard him say, you know what, you've done that twice, that's it, it's over, you're out. But it's about growing and progressing. Now, when I was booming in real estate at age 27, 28, built a big home in Alpine that's probably bigger than the one I live in now, and had a nice boat and a Mercedes, oh yeah, I felt like I had people saying, oh boy, I was kind of feeling it a little bit, confident, not maybe a little prideful, going, yeah, I am pretty good. And then when I lost it all, didn't go bankrupt, but lost it all, moved out of that house, luckily sold it, and moved into a little rental at 30 years of age with 4 of my 7 kids that stunk of cat urine. You know what? I had an unbelievable wife. This woman is not only gorgeous outside, she's even more gorgeous inside. She said, instead of being ticked and upset, she said, I said, hey, looks like you did marry a loser after all. She goes, it wasn't your fault. Well, certainly some of it was my fault. Interest rates 22%, that wasn't my fault, but me having to leverage to make more and more money. You know what? I'm so gifted at age 30 that I learned that I'm not into leverage. Now, a lot of businesses, you got to leverage. My business that we're going to talk about now, I learned my lesson. I didn't care about growing big. I didn't care about selling 100 million air fresheners. I had a new goal, and that was to make $3 or $4 grand a month and have a good job and work for myself. That was my goal. So what we did is we took that. Boy, her hair kind of fired up on us, didn't it? She'd be so ticked if she knew I was even showing this picture. But anyway, these are 4 of the 7 kids. And so this motorhome, we had an opportunity to, 10-2? Okay, we're going to slip through this pretty fast. But we had an opportunity at that time in 1983, which was about the advent of what? Who said it first up there? Come on, raise your hand. Who do you think was one of the first to say personal computers? You know what? We try to start in business. We want to get in startup when things are in their infancy. I didn't know PCs were in their infancy. We started selling dust covers. We got in the motorhome. I'd go out in the western United States, started in Arizona, pulled in behind my uncle, who was the bishop of one of the wards there, set my family up in a motorhome, took the Subaru out behind, took it into the Computerland stores at that time, and sold dust covers door to door. By the time we went up through Southern California and up to Northern California, where I grew up, mostly after in high school, junior high and high school, we go into Apple stores, and my partner, by the way, I have an unbelievable partner who is very detailed, not quite like me, very organized, not quite like me. We work really good together. I could have never done my business without him, and I think I kind of helped him as well. But when he got up there, he was a successful AT&T salesperson that we started this business together, and his job was to actually go out and make patterns for dust covers. And then we'd send those patterns to LA to a Korean partner who would make the dust covers. And then he'd get them packaged, and I'm the salesman out on the road selling. When I was up in Northern California, he called me once and he goes, have you seen this little pad? When I go into Apple stores in 1984, he said, I'm starting to see a pad. Well, that was the advent of the mouse pad. Long story short, we became, and probably to this day, by far the largest producer of mouse mats in the world. If you go into Best Buy, Walmart, or any of those, you look on the back, you'll usually see handstands, mouse mats. So we got into mouse mats and computer accessories, and that turned out to be a pretty successful business. For some 20, 30 years, it just grew bit by bit each year. People sometimes would come to me and say, you want to sell your business? I go, no, I have no interest in selling my business. I love my business. It's not easy to start a business. There's a lot of serendipity into a business, and I'm not sure I'd get it again. Okay, next slide. Okay, this fellow down here is Chris Anderson. I'm guessing, my dates will be wrong, but I'm guessing about 15 years ago when I was running my business, I'd go into Bonneville Equipment. This young man has an IQ of about 180. He, photographic memory, he put himself through Westminster College, only one I think that's graduated in a perfect 4.0 in economics at Westminster College. He put himself through school. He worked at Bonneville Equipment. And as a young man of about 25, 26, he ended up having some ownership. Anytime I'd go in there and buy something, by the way, he sold me 2 tractors. Who needs 2 tractors? I have 2 tractors. That's how good he is. And every time I go in there, he'd want to network. He'd want to say, now, have I met all of your expectations? Is there anything else I can do? No, you've done it all. You've done too much. Okay, can I talk to you for 15 or 20 minutes? He loved to grab mentors and brainstorm. He had an opportunity to go to Stanford. He had some ownership at Bonneville Equipment. He had a chance to go to Stanford MBA school. He said, what should I do? I said, I have no idea. And he goes, you know what? I decided I'm going to come work for you. I said, I don't really have an opportunity, but why don't we buy Bonneville Equipment? And because I believed in him. But we tried and we couldn't come together with the owners. He came back and wiggled into my business. Now today, that was probably 12 years ago. Today, he is the CEO of Handstands. It was him. I had a very big computer accessory company. Simple accessories, mouse mats, document holders, cases, wrist rests. He's the one who said, I think we ought to go in the air freshener business. He's an entrepreneur. I said, no, I teach students, that's a mature industry. We don't want to go into a mature industry. He said, you know what, we have an angle. We make mouse mats with a gel wrist rest. You've seen those? He says, I've got an idea. I know we have brilliant product people. Why don't we take gel and why don't we impregnate fragrance? And why don't we have a sticky technology? We have the patent on the sticky pad that sticks on your dash. No adhesive, no magnet, holds your phone. He says, we'll take that technology. So between him and my other product development people, they created what we thought was a wow product. It was a little bug of air freshener that just sat on the dash. And it was a wow. He took it to Walmart. Walmart had, at the time, about 80 different SKUs from about 6 different companies. It's unheard of for Walmart normally to take just one product from a company. But Chris went in, and we were selling mouse mats to another division, and he went into the buyer of the automotive accessories and said, hey, here's the new bug. The buyer said, what? What word? Huh? Okay, come and get it. Whoever said that, come and get your little... Yes, sir. Oh, you both said it? Are you lying? Okay, would you come down and get 2? One for you, one for him. Okay. He said, wow. So the buyer brought it in. Okay. Businesses, in my opinion, should be led by not product development people, but by who? Salespeople. Why? Because they're out on the front line. They're listening to the customer. So he's out there. We get the product in, and it's coming. We didn't have a chance to deliver it for about 3 or 4 months, and then there's 3 or 4 months of testing. Long story short, he's in there. He goes to meet. He knows that the sales didn't go so well. Do you know why? I think it's the best air freshener we've ever made, and we don't sell any. I think it was too innovative. Most products that are successful, in my opinion, are angles, not new inventions. So he's in there. He's going to go and meet with the buyer, and he knows the news is bad. By the way, we love bad news in our business. You know why? Because then we can fix things. He goes in. He knows ahead of time that it's bad news. He doesn't know what he's going to do other than being kicked out of Walmart. And he goes in and he just says to the buyer, by the way, I think we're too innovative of a product. I think that it was a wow product, because see, his fanny's on the line as a buyer because he brought it in and it's not selling. So we're trying to help him. He just says to the buyer, Chris says to the buyer, and by the way, this creates a $100 million business. This conversation he has. He says to the buyer, I understand the bug's not going that well. Is there anything you're frustrated with in your planogram of air fresheners? He goes, thanks for asking. Air fresheners come from the automotive industry, males 15 to 24. My buyers are 67% female. Nobody makes air fresheners for female. Chris said, thank you, bye. Comes back to me, and here I'm going leery, and as soon as he says that to me, duh, perfect sense. Here that's a mature industry, air fresheners. I didn't think we had a chance unless we came up with something totally innovative. Totally innovative was too much. Customers like you weren't familiar with it. Couldn't get the concept. It was too much of a change. So he came back. We made virtual pictures within a month or two. Sent them out to him. He goes, you've nailed it. Now, if you know the vent sticks, started out with Refresh Your Car. Our focus was on female-friendly packaging. There you go. You're awesome. Did you already get one? No. Oh, man. What am I thinking? So we started with Refresh first, nailed that market in all its types. Of course, we think we made them better than any other of the competing products, but still just an angle. And then we came up with more novelty, and it doesn't even look like we have the tough guy-driven, hard tracks, truck guy products up there at that time. So, but again, it's angles. It's not new inventions. Okay, what do we got next? Let's see what else Okay, one of the things that's been extremely rewarding for me is I've been on the National Board of Operation Smile. How many know what Operation Smile is? It's incredible. It's doctors and nurses that give of their time for free to go operate on children with cleft lip and palates across the world. Within 45 minutes, we can fix a lip where a child's been ostracized in this town or village. And in 45 minutes, we can fix it. So that's an extremely rewarding thing to be part of. Obviously, public service, that's a stretch for me. I'm the mayor. It's a little structured for me, but we'll get through it. It's fun. We're working with other people and building schools in Africa. Now, I've got a strategy. The only problem of this strategy, as I conclude, is it's a strategy a little bit that involves the Lord. And He can outsmart me pretty good. Now, my strategy is, I got to go, I'm probably due for about a mission in a couple years. Kids are gone, public service gone, so I'm due for a mission. If I was really tough, I'd probably go to Africa, and I hear that those that gamble and go there love it the most. But my faith sometimes gets a little weak. So I'm thinking maybe a mission to BYU, Steve, in the entrepreneurial program. What do you think now? Do you think I'm too old? I've lost it? Kinda? Okay, good. Did you already get one? You'll get two for that. What? It was you? Okay, then you get that one. Hey, let's see. Have I got anything else? Key principles. 3-legged stool. Wow product. It isn't easy, guys. It isn't easy. And if you come up with the wow product, the wow sweat block product, gosh, it was a wow genius inventor who invented this product. You apply one night a week before you go to sleep of a disease, of a problem that caused extremely amount of embarrassment and everything. That's a wow product. But you know what? That's just, if you don't have the wow team. So what did I do? I go, okay, I want the best internet marketers to analyze what the company was doing and what we could be doing. Then I quickly analyzed we can beat that. So wow team, sales, serendipity, Ann Romney. Okay, anything else? Wow, hot dang. Thanks for paying attention. I hope you learned something.